Part 1: The Shimmering Veil. I'd always imagined my life would end quietly, maybe surrounded by the starlight refracted through the viewports of some distant colony. Instead, I found myself dangling from the belly of a ship, held by nothing more than a safety tether and an ill-advised sense of adventure. The spacecraft, the groggily named Wandering Gambit, hummed beneath me, a cantankerous old freighter that I swear had a personality all its own. Our mission was simple, or so I'd been led to believe: navigate the dimensional scar, a cosmic wound in space, catalog the anomalies, and return with some fancy readings for the folks back at Galactic Command. My job was to ensure the ship didn't fall apart in the process, and as an engineer who'd spent more time in crawl spaces than I'd care to admit, this seemed like a reasonable request. But of course, reason tends to evaporate when reality itself begins to fray. The scar hung in the void like a celestial bruise, its edges shimmering with hues that shouldn't exist. It whispered, if you paid close enough attention, tales of places that defied all logic, a cacophony of realities bleeding into one another, each more bizarre than the last. As I clambered back inside, the ship's AI, Lumen, greeted me with its usual sardonic tone. "Welcome back, Elliot. I was just tallying bets on whether you'd manage to make it this time." Yeah, I muttered, shaking off the frost that clung to my suit. "What odds did I get?" Lumen's holographic avatar, a twisting coil of light, flickered with what I imagined was amusement. "Not great, I'm afraid. But don't worry, the puppy will be named after you if you didn't." "Touching," I replied, peeling off my gloves. "Update me on our esteemed progress into this cosmic monstrosity." "We're approaching the scar's epicenter. Anomalies are increasing in frequency." Lumen paused, then added, "And there's something else." "There's always something else," I sighed, leaning against the bulkhead. "Spit it out." "Our sensors have detected what appears to be an alien vessel within the scar. It's unlike anything in our databases." That caught my attention. I rushed to the bridge, my boots echoing on the metal floors while my mind spun with possibilities. An unknown ship here. The scar was notoriously unstable, even for the most seasoned pilots. Either these aliens were reckless, or they had technology far beyond our understanding. The bridge was a clutter of monitors and interfaces, with a handful of my crewmates poring over data. Captain Erasmus, the stoic leader with a penchant for outdated cigars, stood by the viewport, squinting as if trying to discern truth from the chaos outside. "Elliot, good timing," he grumbled, acknowledging my arrival with a nod. "Tell me this isn't another mirage." I scanned the readouts and my heart skipped a beat. The ship was real, all right, sleek and organic, as if grown rather than built. It hovered at the scar's heart, unaffected by the gravitational ripples that threatened to tear us apart. "That," I said, "is definitely not a mirage, and unless I'm mistaken, it's completely ignoring the laws of physics." "Comforting," Erasmus muttered, flicking ash into a zero-gravity receptacle. "Thoughts?" I considered, then, in a moment of madness, suggested, "We could try talking to it." The bridge went silent, save for the soft beeping of the consoles. Then Erasmus laughed, a booming sound that seemed to shake the very walls. "You always did have a way with words, Elliot. All right, let's see if we're on speaking terms with the unknown." We hailed the vessel, broadcasting on all frequencies. For a long moment, nothing but static. Then, without warning, it responded, not in sound but in a series of lights and pulses that danced across its hull in a symphony of color. "Lumen," I whispered, not taking my eyes off the spectacle. "What's it saying?" "It's a handshake protocol," Lumen replied, awestruck, "if such a thing was possible for a machine. It's trying to communicate." I could feel the adrenaline prickling my skin as we deciphered the light show, translating it into a crude but functional language. The alien vessel introduced itself as a scout, sent from a race known as the Quarnies to study the scar. They'd become as trapped as we were, victims of their own curiosity. And then it made an offer, a shared effort to understand and, with luck, escape this dimensional rift. Our objectives aligned, but the question of trust remained. Yet it was an opportunity we couldn't ignore. "Guess we're making friends," Erasmus murmured, and I could hear the tension slipping from his voice, replaced by a tentative hope. "But what if it's a trap?" I shrugged, the weight of the unknown pressing heavily. "Only one way to find out. We came looking for anomalies. Now we get to live one." As we drifted closer to our new allies, the ship's lights cast long shadows across the bridge, weaving a tapestry of light and uncertainty. I realized that nothing would ever be the same. The scar had already changed us, and the real journey was only just beginning. Part 2. The Echoes of Light. Trust, when mixed with desperation, is a volatile concoction. Our decision to ally with the Quarnies' vessel had been met with an equal mix of skepticism and cautious optimism. But here we were, our ships tethered in a delicate dance at the scar's heart, a shared venture into the unknown. As I stood on the bridge, fingers tapping out an absent-minded rhythm against the console, I watched our alien counterparts through the viewport. Their vessel, a living sculpture of bioluminescent fiber, pulsated with a steady, calming glow. It was beautiful in the way a storm could be, its power and unpredictability both awe-inspiring and unsettling. "Elliot," Captain Erasmus's voice cut through my reverie, "we've been invited aboard their ship. They think a face-to-face will help us harmonize." I arched an eyebrow. "You think they mean literal harmony? Like we're going to sing Kumbaya with these guys?" Erasmus chuckled, low and rumbling. "Wouldn't that be something? But no, they mentioned sharing knowledge, maybe even some tech. Could be a breakthrough." "Or a trap," I countered, though inwardly curiosity gnawed at me. The allure of alien technology was hard to resist. Erasmus gave me a look that spoke volumes. We'd both lived through enough to know risks were part of the deal. "You're the logical choice, Elliot. You've got the engineering chops and, frankly, you're the least likely to offend them." "Flattery will get you everywhere, Captain," I quipped, though my heart raced at the thought. "All right, let's see what the Quarnies have to offer." Boarding the alien relic was like stepping into a dream, or perhaps a fevered imagination. The corridors were curved and seamless, the walls alive with patterns that shifted and flowed like liquid art. I was accompanied by Lumen, projected as a nimbus of pure light, its curiosity as piqued as mine. The Quarnies awaited us in a chamber resembling an amphitheater. Their form was fluid, constantly shifting between shapes, a spectacle of colors and textures. Communication was a blend of light and sound, a hypnotic dance that took every ounce of concentration to follow. "Welcome," they chorused through a blend of synthesized tones, each word a note in a larger melody. "We are Tharn. We seek understanding as you do." "Understanding is the first step to survival," I replied, struggling to match their cadence. "Your ship, it's extraordinary. We've never encountered technology like this. They shimmered with what I could only interpret as pride. Grown, not manufactured, it resonates with the scar's frequencies, allowing us to navigate its chaos. As we exchanged knowledge, Tharn revealed much about the scar, a rift not merely in space but in essence. Multiple realities colliding, each whispering its own secrets. Their ship's technology could stabilize the fabric, given the right calibration. It was during this exchange that Lumen detected a shift, a ripple in the scar's heart that vibrated like a chord struck by unseen hands. Elliot, Lumen's voice held an edge of urgency. We have a problem. Back on the Wandering Gambit, the readings were clear. A gravitational anomaly was forming, a distortion pulling fragments of reality towards it. If unchecked, it would consume both ships and perhaps more. We need to stabilize it, I said, my voice steady despite the fear clawing at my insides. Erasmus was already barking orders, his demeanor one of controlled chaos. Lumen, get us the calculations. Elliot, you and Tharn figure out how to use their ship's tech to anchor us. Tharn's lights flickered with intensity as they processed the data. We will attempt to harmonize with the anomaly, to weave its threads into a stable pattern. It will require precision. We don't have much time, I said, a quick glance at the monitors confirming the gravity well's growth. Let's get to work. With a fusion of human ingenuity and alien technology, we interfaced the Quarny's systems with our own. Every adjustment felt like threading a needle while blindfolded. The ship's hull sang under the strain, a resonant hum that vibrated through my bones. The tension on the bridge was palpable, a taut string ready to snap. Erasmus paced like a caged beast, his eyes never leaving the floating hollow displays. I stood at my console, hands moving faster than thought, the weight of both hope and desperation pressing upon me. We have alignment, Lumen announced, the ship systems glowing with renewed vigor. Initiating stabilization. Outside, the scar flickered, its chaotic dance slowing as the realities began to weave together. The gravitational pull lessened, yet the threat of collapse lingered like a held breath. Hold steady, I whispered, not sure if I was talking to the ship, Tharn, or myself. The universe seemed to listen, the anomaly gradually shrinking, its once ravenous maw pacified into a gentle swirl. Then, as if sighing in relief, the ships drifted apart, Scar's turbulent heart now a tranquil vortex. We had succeeded, though the cost remained to be seen. That was close, Erasmus exhaled, the tension easing from his posture. Good work, everyone, and you, Elliot. You just might have saved us all. I nodded, weary but satisfied. Yet a niggling thought lingered, the realization that we were not alone in our curiosity. The scar held secrets, some benign, others potentially catastrophic. And though we had emerged unscathed, the path ahead was fraught with more unknowns. As I stood among friends and allies alike, the starry void stretching infinitely beyond, I felt the thrill of discovery mingled with the weight of responsibility. The journey was far from over, and the scar had more to reveal. Part 3. The Resonance of Shadows. The scar had receded into a lull, a cosmic eye of the storm that belied the swirling chaos just beyond. Yet even in its quietude, it teemed with potential, a vast sea of untapped mysteries. We had stabilized the anomaly, but each fleeting moment reminded me that our respite was temporary. In the aftermath, the Wandering Gambit found itself tethered to the Quarny's vessel, with a bond that went beyond mere technology. Our collaboration had fostered a strange camaraderie, a trust built on necessity and shared survival. Days passed in a blur of data analysis and system diagnostics, the kind of routine that somehow felt comforting amidst the uncertainty. Tharn and I spent countless hours deciphering the peculiarities of the scar, our understanding deepening with each discovery. Lumen, with its unyielding curiosity, provided insight with a precision only artificial intelligence could muster. "Ever feel like we're the ones being studied?" I asked Tharn one day, the two of us huddled over blinking consoles. It was meant as a joke, but even I could hear the edge of truth in my voice. Tharn's shifting form glimmered with what I imagined to be amusement. "We are all students of the universe, Elliot, as much a part of it as the stars themselves." It was a sentiment I couldn't argue with. There was something humbling about our insignificance against the grandeur of the cosmos. Yet, it didn't diminish our quest for understanding. If anything, it fueled it. Our serenity abruptly shattered when the ship's alert systems blared to life, an urgent cacophony that pulled me from my reverie. Erasmus appeared on the bridge, his expression the perfect mix of concern and irritation, as if someone had just told him his cigar stash had been jettisoned out the airlock. "What's happening, Lumen?" he demanded, the urgency in his voice mirroring the alarm. Lumen's holographic form flared with heightened intensity, detecting an energy surge emanating from the scar. Its frequency matches that of the stabilized anomaly, but amplified. The implications hit like a cold wave. If the anomaly had a counterpart, a twin of sorts, then the previous threat was merely a prelude. The scar was waking up, its chaotic dance preparing to engulf everything in its path. "Can we stabilize it again?" Erasmus asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. "We'd need more power," I replied, eyes scanning the data readouts. "A lot more." Erasmus rubbed his chin, deep in thought. "Then we find an anchor, something solid enough to tie this storm down. Or we risk getting swept away," I added, my mind already racing ahead, searching for solutions. The answer came in the form of an ancient signal, a relic buried beneath layers of cosmic noise. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but the patterns were there, like an echo reaching back through time. Lumen projected the coordinates, the star map revealing a location deep within the scar's grasp. Tharn's colors rippled with recognition. "The obelisk of Dern," they said, the name resonating with a weight that demanded reverence. "It was believed to be a myth," Tharn continued, "a construct of immense size and power, capable of influencing the very fabric of reality." "Sounds like exactly what we need," Erasmus mused, a new resolve in his voice. "But myths have a way of being problematic." Nonetheless, the decision was made. We would venture deeper into the scar, to where the obelisk slumbered, a gamble born of both desperation and hope. The journey was unlike any other, the scar's volatile nature becoming increasingly apparent. Waves of distortion rippled across space, each one a test of our resolve and skill. The ships creaked under the strain, an orchestra of stress and tension that played through the hull. Then, as if surfacing from a dream, the obelisk emerged from the shadows, a monolithic structure of intricate design, its surface etched with patterns that resonated a symphony of light. It loomed against the starlit canvas, a testament to forgotten times, its presence both awe-inspiring and terrifying. "Now that's a sight," Erasmus breathed, the reverence in his voice a rare break from his usual cynicism. "Let's hope it's the right site," I replied, already preparing for the delicate operation ahead. With Tharn's guidance, we initiated the synchronization process, channeling energy through the Quarny's technology to awaken the obelisk's dormant power. It was a task fraught with risk, a delicate balance of control and chaos. The obelisk responded with a resonance that vibrated through every fiber of my being, a song of creation and destruction. It was a language I couldn't understand, yet somehow felt deeply connected to. As the energies converged, the scar trembled, its chaotic threads gradually woven into a tapestry of order. The obelisk's harmonics extended outward, a stabilizing force that calmed the tempest's fury. But then, just as quietly as it began, the resonance faltered. A jarring dissonance echoed across the chamber, threatening to unravel everything we had achieved. "Elliot, we need to adjust the modulation." Lumen's voice cut through the din, urgency spurring me into action. With hands moving instinctively, I recalibrated the systems, guided by Tharn's insights. The obelisk pulsed with renewed vigor, the dissonance transforming into harmony once more. Outside, the scar's turbulence subsided, the storm quelled by the obelisk's influence. A victory, hard-won and precarious. As silence settled over the bridge, I released a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding. The journey had brought us to the edge of oblivion, yet we had endured. We had touched the ancient, glimpsed the eternal, and emerged stronger for it. But even as relief washed over me, I knew this was not the end. The scar had more secrets to unveil, more challenges to present. And amidst the stars, our story would continue to unfold, shaped by the echoes of light and shadow intertwined. Part 4. The Labyrinth of Mirrors. The obelisk stood silent, its ethereal glow casting long shadows that flickered with an ancient wisdom. We had tamed the scar for now, but as the dust settled, a new enigma emerged, a pathway of light extending from the obelisk, like a beckoning hand leading into the heart of nowhere. Captain Erasmus was the first to voice what we were all thinking. "That's an invitation if I've ever seen one, but the question is, who or what is inviting us?" I glanced at Tharn, their form undulating with indecipherable colors. "It could be a passage or a test," they replied, the ambiguity doing little to ease my apprehension. Lumen, ever the optimist, chimed in. "The obelisk may be offering guidance or perhaps a warning. Either way, it seems we are meant to follow." "Ah, the old follow the mysterious light routine," I muttered under my breath, earning a chuckle from Erasmus. "But I've seen worse plans." With little more than trust in the unknown, we maneuvered the Wandering Gambit toward the luminescent path. As we advanced, the light enveloped us, a shimmering corridor that twisted through the fabric of space, a corridor of mirrors reflecting infinite possibilities. The sensation was both unnerving and exhilarating, like stepping across the threshold of another world. The ship's hull seemed to hum in response, as if resonating with the corridor's frequency. "Elliot," Lumen's voice held a note of fascination. "The path appears to be a dimensional bridge. We're moving through layers of space-time." "Just another day at the office," I replied, though the awe creeping into my voice was unmistakable. The journey through the corridor was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. Images flickered across the mirrored surfaces, scenes of distant worlds, echoing laughter, snippets of forgotten histories. It was a kaleidoscope of realities, each more vivid than the last, yet impossible to grasp. Then, without warning, the corridor expanded, depositing us into a vast, shimmering expanse, a cosmic cavern where colors defied definition. At its center floated a structure unlike any we'd encountered, a labyrinthine construct of shifting walls and spiraling towers, its design as chaotic as it was mesmerizing. "We've arrived at whatever this is," Erasmus said, awe and skepticism vying for dominance in his tone. "Any thoughts?" Tharn's gaze remained fixed on the structure, their form flickering with an intensity I hadn't seen before. "The labyrinth of mirrors," they whispered, as if speaking a sacred name. "A nexus of realities where truths are reflected and distorted." "Sounds delightful," I quipped, though I could feel the weight of the moment. The labyrinth was a riddle, and we were its unwitting participants. Our approach was cautious, the ships moving in tandem as we navigated the entrance. The labyrinth's corridors twisted and turned, each passage a reflection of the other, creating a disorienting maze. The walls shimmered with mirrored surfaces, each one showing a different version of ourselves, a reminder of what was, what is, and what could be. "It's like the universe's funhouse," I muttered, trying not to focus on the multitude of Elliot staring back at me. But there was no time for introspection. The labyrinth's corridors were alive, shifting as if with a mind of their own. The path behind us sealed and a new one opened, guiding us deeper into the heart of the mystery. The ship's sensors detected a familiar energy signature, the echo of the scar's frequency, resonating with the labyrinth. "This structure might hold the key to the scar's true nature," Lumen suggested, its voice laced with intrigue. As we progressed, the labyrinth revealed its secrets in cryptic fragments, images of creation, destruction, and rebirth, a cycle as old as time itself. The reflections began to coalesce, forming a narrative that spoke not just to the mind, but to the soul. Yet amidst the wonder, danger lurked. A sudden jolt rocked the ship, the mirrors vibrating with ominous intent. A pulse of energy surged through the corridors, a warning or perhaps a defense mechanism. "We need to stabilize the ship," Erasmus barked, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Lumen, can you interface with the labyrinth? Maybe it's trying to communicate." Lumen's light flickered as it worked, reaching out to the labyrinth systems. "Attempting connection," it replied, the tension palpable. The labyrinth responded, its corridors pulsating in time with our ship's systems. It was a synchronicity that promised answers but required trust, a leap of faith into the unknown. With bated breath, we surrendered control, allowing the labyrinth's energy to merge with our own. The ship became an extension of the labyrinth, our consciousness intertwined with its enigmatic design. In that moment of unity, the labyrinth's purpose unveiled itself, a gateway to understanding, a reflection of our journey, both personal and cosmic. It was a revelation that transcended words, a truth glimpsed only through the lens of acceptance. As the energy subsided, the labyrinth's corridors settled into a serene stillness. We had made it through, our understanding deepened, our path clearer. "The labyrinth has shown us much," Tharn murmured, their voice a blend of wonder and reverence. "Yet its greatest gift is not the knowledge gained, but the path forward." I nodded, the weight of the experience settling into my bones. We had emerged changed, the reflections of our true selves etched into our memories. The scar remained, a mystery still unfathomed, but its shadows held less fear, its whispers less threat. As the ships turned to leave the labyrinth's embrace, I couldn't help but think of the possibilities that lay ahead. The journey was far from over, yet the path was illuminated by the light of discovery, a beacon leading us into the vast, uncharted realms of the cosmos. Part 5. The Veil of Echoes. Leaving the labyrinth felt like stepping out of a dream. The corridors of mirrors faded into the cosmic background, their secrets absorbed into the recesses of my mind. As the Wandering Gambit returned to the familiar yet uncertain expanse of the scar, a new intention had settled among us. We had witnessed a glimpse of something profound, and it was time to confront the scar's enigma head-on. "Elliot," Captain Erasmus called, his voice rough from long hours of command yet tinged with a renewed energy. "We need a new heading. We've danced around this mystery long enough. Time to pull back the curtain." "Aye, Captain," I replied, fingers flying over the console as I plotted a course into the scar's heart. Its presence loomed large on our screens, a swirling cauldron of potential and peril, like the eye of a cosmic hurricane. Tharn hovered beside me, their form a gentle cascade of colors that shifted with a purpose I still struggled to understand. "The scar reacts to intention," they said, their voice a symphony of harmonics. "Choose your path carefully." There was wisdom in their words. The scar had been a passive observer, responding to our actions, reflecting our motivations. But now it demanded something more, a decision that could reshape everything we had come to know. As our ships drifted closer, the universe seemed to hold its breath. The scar's edge shimmered with a challenging invitation, and we accepted it with equal parts trepidation and resolve. Silence descended as we crossed the threshold, the ship's systems humming with anticipation. This was the point of no return, the moment where our understanding would either unravel or be born anew. The interior of the scar was a paradox, a space teeming with conflicting realities that defied comprehension. Stars formed and dissolved in rapid succession. Galaxies flickered like candle flames in the wind. It was chaos, and yet it was beautiful, a cosmic symphony that played on a scale beyond imagination. Our instruments danced with the overload, data streams flowing like rivers of light. Lumen processed the chaos with a diligence that bordered on reverence, its digital gaze attuned to the symphony's pulse. "There's something there," Lumen announced, its voice filled with awe. "A core, a nexus of energies converging." The core was a brilliant beacon, pulsating with an intensity that demanded attention. It was the scar's heart, its essence laid bare, and it called to us with a magnetism that was impossible to resist. We maneuvered closer, the ships navigating the energetic tides that threatened to tear them asunder. It was a dance of precision and daring, each movement calculated with the understanding of what was at stake. "Elliot, look," Tharn's voice was hushed, their gaze fixed on the core. "The reflections." Indeed, the core's surface shimmered with images, reflections not of ourselves but of myriad possibilities. Each one a different path, a different outcome, born of choices made and unmade. "This is it," Erasmus murmured, his eyes wide with the enormity of it all. "The scar's truth, a reflection of all we are and all we could be." With the core within reach, we prepared to interface, to bridge the gap between our reality and the scar's infinite possibilities. It was a task that required not just skill, but conviction, a leap of faith into the unknown. "Ready?" Erasmus asked, though the question was rhetorical. We were committed, each of us bound by the gravity of purpose. I nodded, hands steady on the controls. Let's see what the universe has to say. As we connected with the core, a wave of energy surged through the ship, resonating with our very beings. It was a communion of soul and symphony, a dialogue with the cosmos that transcended language. The core responded, its reflections coalescing into a singular vision, a future shaped by choices yet to be made. It was a universe of potential, a path illuminated by the light of our actions and intentions. But then the vision shifted, the symphony's harmony disrupted by a discordant note. A shadow rippled across the core, a reminder of the fragility of balance. Elliot, Lumen's voice was urgent, a beacon in the encroaching uncertainty. We have a choice. Stabilize the core and secure this reality, or risk the unknown. It was a decision that lay heavy on my heart, the weight of possibility and consequence entwined. Yet within the uncertainty, I found clarity, a path forward that honored both the journey and its potential. We stabilize, I said, my voice steady and resolute. This is our reality and it's worth preserving. With our course set, we directed the ship's energies into the core, harmonizing with its frequency. The scar responded in kind, its tumultuous dance settling into a gentle sway. As the core stabilized, the scar's edges softened, the chaos giving way to a serene expanse. We had forged a new bond, a new understanding with the cosmos, a ray. Flexion of the choices we had made, and the paths we had yet to walk. The journey had brought us full circle from doubt to discovery, from chaos to calm. And as we prepared to leave the scar's embrace, I couldn't shake the feeling that our story was far from over. The universe had more to reveal, more echoes to explore, and we would meet them with open hearts and open minds. For in the grand tapestry of the cosmos, we were but a single thread, yet one destined to weave a narrative of endless possibility. Part 6. The Whispering Abyss. Leaving the scar's embrace felt like waking from a deep slumber, emerging into a universe newly baptized by the light of understanding. Yet, the stars that twinkled outside the viewport carried a silence that was both comforting and unnerving, as if they too were digesting the gravity of our journey. Back aboard the Wandering Gambit, the crew moved with a newfound purpose, each of us touched by the encounter with the scar's core. We had glimpsed a future molded by our choices, a vision that whispered promises and cautions in equal measure. But the universe had little patience for complacency. Just as the ship settled into the routine hum of post-mission operations, the calm was shattered by a reading that sent a chill down my spine. Elliot, Lumen's voice crackled through the comms, a sharp edge cutting through the ambient noise. There's something ahead, an anomaly different from the scar but equally perplexing. I rushed to the bridge, where Erasmus and the rest of the crew were already gathered. The main display showed an area of space where light itself seemed hesitant to tread, a swirling void that absorbed all around it, a whispering abyss. "What in the stars is that?" Erasmus muttered, his eyes narrowing as he studied the readings. "Another anomaly," I offered, though my voice carried no certainty. The void's presence was different, more insidious, as if it held secrets no light could illuminate. Tharn's form flickered with uncertainty, their usual composure disrupted. An abyss, a void where echoes fade. It is said to be a place where realities converge, yet remain distinct, a boundary not meant to be crossed. Erasmus let out a long breath, a mix of frustration and intrigue coloring his words. Well, we've danced close enough to the edge before. What's a little more toe-tapping on the precipice? Despite the attempt at levity, the decision weighed heavily. This void was no scar, its nature unfamiliar, its motives inscrutable. Yet, like a moth drawn to flame, we felt its pull, a gravitational curiosity that demanded exploration. As we navigated closer, the ship's sensors buzzed with activity, the data a chaotic mix of signals and silence. It was as if the abyss was both everything and nothing, a riddle spun from the universe's loom. "Look at this," I said, pointing to a series of readings that defied logic. "The abyss is emitting a signal, but it's buried beneath layers of interference. It's almost like a call." Erasmus rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "A distress signal." "Or a beacon," Lumen suggested, its voice steady as it worked through the data. "We might be looking at an ancient construct hidden within the void." The decision was made. We would venture into the abyss, driven by the same spirit of discovery that had guided us through the scar. It was a choice that echoed with the lessons learned, a willingness to embrace the unknown despite the risks it posed. As we crossed the boundary, the void enveloped us in a cloak of silence. The ship's lights dimmed as if, in reverence, the universe outside reduced to shadows against the hull. Within the abyss, time felt malleable, stretching and contracting like the tides. The ship's systems hummed with an unsteady rhythm, each beat a reminder of the fragile line we walked. Then through the darkness we saw it, a structure suspended in the void, an intricate lattice of light and shadow. It was a construct not of stone and steel, but of an energy that pulsed with an ancient, unfathomable intelligence. "We need to stabilize our approach," I said, voice tight with concentration. "The construct is interacting with the abyss, and anything we do could have consequences." Together with Tharn and Lumen, we calibrated the ship's systems, aligning our energies with the void's rhythm. It was a delicate operation, one that required an understanding born of our previous encounters. As we drew nearer, the construct responded, its energies rippling outward in a luminous dance. It was a greeting and a warning, a gesture that spoke of both welcome and caution. "Elliot," Lumen's voice trembled with excitement, "the abyss is a containment field. Whatever's inside, it's meant to be isolated." A shiver ran through me. What kind of force required such containment, and why had it begun to call out now? The construct beckoned us closer, its surface alive with patterns that mirrored the labyrinth of mirrors. It was as if the abyss held a reflection of the universe's heart, a truth locked away behind layers of reality. As we interfaced with the construct, the ship's systems synchronized with the abyss's frequency. It was a moment of perfect clarity, a communion with the cosmic mind that defied explanation. The construct responded with a surge of energy, its secrets unraveling like a tapestry woven from starlight. Within its depths lay a history of the universe, memories etched in light, whispers of creation and extinction, echoes of a time when the cosmos was young. Yet amidst the wonder, a shadow loomed. The construct's energies wavered, a tremor that threatened to disrupt the balance we had achieved. "Elliot, we need to separate." Erasmus's voice cut through the rising tension. "Whatever's coming, we can't face it tethered to this construct." With a heavy heart, we disengaged, the ship pulling away from the abyss's embrace. The void slumbered once more, its secrets held fast behind a veil of silence. As we emerged into the starlit expanse, I felt a pang of loss tempered by understanding. We had brushed against the edges of the infinite, glimpsed the whispers of creation, and returned to tell the tale. The universe remained vast and unknowable, a canvas upon which our stories would be painted in strokes of light and shadow. And as we plotted our course back to familiar stars, I knew that wherever our journey led, the surety of discovery would guide us ever forward. Part 7. The Fractured Harmony. Re-emerging from the whispering abyss left us with an indelible sense that we had merely grazed the surface of an even deeper mystery. The stars were once again familiar, yet each shimmer held the echo of secrets half told. Whatever lay within the void, it had opened a door to possibilities both wondrous and terrifying. Back on the Wandering Gambit, the atmosphere was charged with a quiet anticipation, as if we were collectively holding our breath, waiting for the universe to reveal its next card. The crew, seasoned by our travel through anomalies and scars, seemed more attuned to the subtle shifts around us. Elliot, Erasmus addressed me as I stood before a console displaying the ship's ongoing diagnostics. We've got a new heading. There's a signal, different from the abyss, but just as curious. I raised an eyebrow, intrigued by the captain's words. Another invitation. Perhaps, he replied, his demeanor betraying a hint of excitement. But this one's from a sector that hasn't shown any activity in centuries, a sector marked as empty by every star chart we have. What's the source? I asked, curiosity sharpening my focus. Lumen interjected, its light flickering with interest. The signal is artificial, a consistent pattern that suggests intelligent origin. It could be a beacon or a distress call. Tharn, there form a serene cascade of light, offered their insight. Echoes from the past, perhaps, a relic of a forgotten civilization, reaching through time for recognition. Erasmus nodded, the weight of command tempered by the spark of discovery. We owe it to the stars to investigate. Prepare the ship, Elliot. We find out what's calling us. With a course set and systems primed, we made our way toward the uncharted sector. The journey was smooth, each passing star a reminder of the infinite tapestry we had yet to explore. Yet beneath the surface of calm, there was a tension, a sense that this signal was more than it appeared. As we neared the coordinates, an unexpected sight greeted us. An enormous structure floated in the void, a network of vessels and stations adrift in a complex formation. It was a graveyard of technology, a testament to a civilization once brimming with life. The signal pulsed from the heart of this cosmic warren, a steady beacon calling out in a language long lost to the stars. We maneuvered closer, the Wandering Gambit threading through the debris with delicate precision. Looks like a city in space, Erasmus mused, eyes wide with both wonder and caution. But why abandon such a place? Maybe they didn't, I replied, eyes scanning the myriad vessels. Something this massive. There has to be more to the story. The ship's sensors detected faint power readings, remnants of energy that spoke of systems not fully dormant. Lumen worked quickly, decrypting the signal until a semblance of meaning emerged, a looped message, repeated over and over. "Welcome, seekers of the light," the message began, the voice distorted by time. "Harmony awaits those who listen." Harmony, Erasmus echoed, a question wrapped in the guise of a statement. It could be a promise, Lumen suggested, its digital form pulsing in thought, or a challenge. As we prepared to explore the derelict city, The tension aboard the ship transformed into a silent resolve. This was a place of echoes, where past and present entwined, and every step carried the weight of history. Boarding one of the larger vessels, we were greeted by corridors rich with the patina of age. The air was stale, the silence profound, yet every corner held a whisper of former vitality. It was a realm of shadows, memories etched into the very walls. "Feels like walking through a museum," I said, running a hand along a panel covered in alien script. "Except the exhibits might start talking back." Erasmus chuckled, a sound muffled by the uncertainty lurking in every shadow. "Let's hope they're in a good mood." The deeper we ventured, the more the ship seemed to awaken. Systems powered on, casting corridors in a soft glow, leading us toward the source of the signal. It was as if the city welcomed us, recognizing the spirit of exploration we carried. Finally, we arrived at the core, a vast chamber filled with consoles and displays, each flickering to life under our gaze. At its center stood an obelisk of shimmering crystal, resonating with the beacon's call. "Elliot, this has your name written all over it," Erasmus said, gesturing toward the obelisk. "See if you can get it to spill its secrets." I approached, hands moving over the console with a mixture of caution and awe. The obelisk responded, projecting a holographic display that filled the chamber with light. The story it told was one of brilliance and tragedy, a civilization driven by the pursuit of harmony, their technology a symphony of light and sound. But hubris led to their downfall, their creations spiraling beyond control, turning money into discord. As the echoes of the past washed over us, a realization crystallized. The beacon was not merely a call for help, but a warning, a reminder that balance was fragile, a thread easily unraveled by ambition. "We have to learn from this," Tharn said softly, their form flickering with a deep, resonant hue. "Harmony is not a destination, but a journey, a path walked with care." Erasmus nodded, the captain's resolve tempered by the lessons of the past. "We'll take what we've learned here and leave this place as a monument to those who came before." As we made our way back to the Wandering Gambit, the city's lights dimmed once more, returning to their slumber. The echoes of harmony faded into the silence, but their message resonated within us. With the sector's mysteries unraveled, we charted our course anew, the journey ever onward, the universe a canvas for our discoveries. Though the stars might shift and shadows drift, the essence of our quest remained, seeking harmony in the vast, unending night. Part 8: The Celestial Accord. Leaving the derelict city behind, we moved with a clarity of purpose that felt almost ceremonial. The stars around us twinkled in cryptic approval, their light a silent acknowledgement of the truths we carried forward. We had learned from the echoes of harmony, lessons etched into the fiber of our beings, guiding us through the vastness of the cosmos. Our next course took us toward the coordinates suggested by the obelisk's final message, a place known in ancient lore as the Celestial Accord. It was rumored to be a confluence of cosmic energies, where the universe's harmonics intertwined in a delicate balance. To many, it was a myth. To us, it was the next step in our odyssey. "Elliot," Erasmus called out from the bridge, his voice carrying the weight of command tempered with an undercurrent of anticipation. "How's the ship holding up?" "Like a champ, Captain," I replied, glancing over the readouts that confirmed the ship systems were stable and humming. "We've got enough juice to take us clear across the quadrant and back, should we need to. Beside me, Tharn's form resonated with a confident glow, their presence a steady anchor through the tides of uncertainty. The Accord is said to be a place where paths converge, they noted, a convergence point of both destiny and discovery. Sounds like a good place to be, Erasmus mused, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. Let's see if it lives up to the legends. The journey was one of anticipation, each parsec bringing us closer to a destination long whispered about in the annals of exploration. As we neared the coordinates, the ship's sensors picked up an anomaly, a swirling mass of energy, intricate and impossibly beautiful, like a cosmic ballet performed against the backdrop of infinity. The Accord was a marvel to behold, its presence a tapestry of vibrant energies weaving a symphony of light and shadow. It was a nexus where galaxies danced, their gravitational pulls in perfect harmony, creating an ethereal gateway into the heart of the unknown. "Is this it?" I asked, eyes wide as I gazed upon the shifting spectacle. "It looks alive." "As alive as the universe itself," Tharn replied, their voice filled with reverence. "The Accord is a living testament to balance, a glimpse into the soul of creation." "How do we navigate this without becoming part of the dance?" Erasmus asked, though the challenge was clear, a puzzle waiting to be solved. With cautious determination, we approached the edge of the Accord, the ship's systems working tirelessly to adapt to the ever-changing gravitational currents. It was a delicate maneuver, requiring not just skill, but an intuitive understanding of the harmonics that governed this celestial waltz. Lumen provided guidance, its digital presence attuned to the ebb and flow of energies. "Synchronize our frequencies with the Accord's rhythm, and we might just find our way through," it advised, its voice carrying a melody of logic and intuition. The ship's controls felt like an extension of my mind as I adjusted our trajectory, each movement guided by the symphony that enveloped us. The universe sang around us in a chorus of vibration and resonance, a dazzling display of cosmic artistry. As we entered the Accord, the sensation was one of transcendence, a momentary fusion with the cosmos where boundaries dissolved, and all became one. The ship flowed like a note in the grand composition, each crew member a vital harmony in the score. At the Accord's heart stood a structure, its design both alien and familiar, a spire of pure energy, pulsing with the heartbeat of creation. It was a focal point, a nexus where the universe's potential converged, and we were drawn to it as if by destiny. "What is it?" Erasmus asked, his voice hushed, filled with awe as he beheld the wonders unfolding before us. "A convergence," Tharn replied, their gaze fixed on the spire. "It is said that those who reach this place and listen will discover truths beyond the limits of perception." Guided by an unspoken understanding, we docked with the spire, the docking bay an oasis of calm amidst the swirling energies. The air hummed with potential, each step echoing with the promise of revelation. The spire's interior was a kaleidoscope of light and sound, patterns that danced with a life of their own. As we moved deeper into its core, we were enveloped by a warm glow, a gentle embrace that spoke of welcome and discovery. At the center, a chamber opened before us, filled with an ethereal glow that was both calming and invigorating. It was a place of resonance, where the universe's secrets whispered through the walls. We gathered around a central console, a crystalline structure that radiated wisdom. As we interfaced with its systems, a projection filled the chamber, an intricate map of the universe, each star a note in the celestial symphony. The accord is more than a place, Lumen translated as data flowed through. Its circuits. It's an understanding, a balance between chaos and order, a place where the universe contemplates its own existence. As the map expanded, new paths revealed themselves, each one an invitation to explore further, to seek the harmony that lay between the stars. It was a message of hope, a reminder that our journey was part of a greater whole. With the spire's revelations weaving into our consciousness, we prepared to leave the accord, the ship systems resonating with a newfound vitality. The universe outside awaited, a canvas for our continued adventure, the path ahead illuminated by the harmony we carried within. As the Wandering Gambit set its course for the next horizon, the stars whispered promises of wonder, the celestial accord a guiding light in our odyssey through the uncharted realms of possibility. Part 9. The Starlit Nexus. Leaving the celestial accord felt like parting with a dream, one that left a lingering imprint on the soul. Our journey had transformed us, filling our hearts with a resonance that echoed the harmonies of the cosmos. But as we ventured back into the vast tapestry of the stars, a new challenge beckoned, a mystery woven into the fabric of our voyage. Our course took us toward a sector marked by anomalies, an area where space itself seemed to fold in upon its dimensions, creating pockets of reality that danced and flickered like fireflies caught in a perpetual twilight. The phenomenon had earned the name the Starlit Nexus, and it was a place few dared to explore. Elliot, Erasmus called over the comm, his voice carrying the steady assurance of a captain who had come to trust the unknown. "How's our approach looking?" "The Nexus is unstable, but we should be able to navigate it," I replied, eyes locked on the readings that danced across my console like notes on an interstellar symphony. "We'll need to adjust our trajectory to avoid the dimensional rifts." Beside me, Tharn shimmered with an intensity that reflected the Nexus's complexity. "The Nexus is a place of intersections," they said, their voice a harmonic blend. "Where realities converge, there is opportunity, but also danger." "Sounds like home," Erasmus joked, though the gravity of the situation was not lost on him. "Let's see what this Nexus has to offer." Guided by the ship's expertise and intuition, we maneuvered into the Nexus's embrace, the vessel slicing through the folds of space with the grace of a dancer navigating a cosmic stage. Each thread of reality sang with its own melody, creating a symphonic tapestry that enveloped us. As we delved deeper, the Nexus revealed its wonders, a kaleidoscope of worlds glimpsed only through the veil of dimensional rifts. Some were familiar, others alien, but all vibrated with potential, each one a possibility in the grand design. Then, amidst the dance of realities, the ship detected a signal, a pattern distinct from the chaotic symphony, a thread of intent woven into the Nexus's fabric. "Lumen, can you isolate that signal?" Erasmus inquired, the captain's instincts piqued by the beacon's anomaly. "It's faint, but there's a clear pattern," Lumen confirmed, its light pulsing with intrigue. "It appears to be a message, though its origin is not immediately clear." We altered course, drawn toward the signal, the ship threading through the Nexus with precision and caution. Each fluctuation in space-time was a reminder of the delicate balance we navigated, a dance between the known and the unknown. As we neared the source, a structure emerged from the folds, a station suspended in the fabric of realities, anchored by unseen forces. It was a relic of advanced design, its surfaces etched with symbols that pulsed in time with the Nexus's rhythm. "What is this place?" I murmured, captivated by the mysterious station that defied both time and space. "A crossroads," Tharn suggested, their form resonating with the station's energy. "A nexus within the nexus where paths intersect." Boarding the station was like stepping into another realm. The air vibrated with the hum of technology, both ancient and advanced, each corridor a conduit for the energies that fueled this place. At its heart, we found a control chamber where consoles buzzed with life, interface points alive with data streams that sparkled like stars in a digital firmament. The signal originated here, a beacon sent out through the Nexus. "Let's see what our hosts have to say," Erasmus said, gesturing to the consoles with a nod of encouragement. With deft hands, I interfaced with the systems, deciphering the alien code that wove the station's narrative. The message revealed itself slowly, a story etched in light, speaking of travelers who had come before, explorers seeking to map the Nexus, their journey captured in echoes. The station was theirs, a haven for those who dared to explore the boundaries of reality. Yet their presence had dwindled, their fates unknown, leaving behind only whispers and this beacon of welcome or warning. We explored further, each room revealing fragments of history, glimpses of lives lived in pursuit of understanding. Their stories resonated with our own, a reminder that the spirit of exploration transcends both time and space. But as we delved deeper, a new signal emerged, a pulse that throbbed with urgency, different from the beacon, as if the station itself was awakening to our presence. "Elliot, something's changed," Lumen warned, its voice a thread of tension woven into the station's symphony. "A security protocol has been triggered." Before we could react, the station's corridors sealed, and we found ourselves isolated within its core. The atmosphere hummed with an undercurrent of anticipation, as if the station was sizing us up, determining our intentions. "Looks like we've got testy neighbors," Erasmus quipped, though the humor barely masked the concern in his eyes. "Ideas." "We need to interface directly with the station's core," I suggested, already analyzing the data streams that continued to flow through the control chamber. "Convince it that we're not a threat." With Lumen's guidance and Tharn's insights, we worked to communicate with the station systems, crafting a message that spoke to our shared quest for knowledge, for harmony within the dissonance of the Nexus. The station responded, its defenses relaxing as it accepted our presence, the corridors reopening to us as if in understanding. We had passed its test, earned the right to share its secrets. As we prepared to leave, the station's systems offered a final gift, a map of the Nexus, a guide to the intersections that lay beyond, each path a promise of discovery. With gratitude, we returned to the Wandering Gambit, the station fading into the Nexus's embrace, its light a beacon for future explorers. The journey continued, our ship setting course for new horizons, the map a guide through the manifold wonders of the universe. The stars beckoned, and we followed, hearts filled with the music of possibilities, each note a step toward the ever-expanding symphony of the cosmos.